Yeah, I mean, I thought that was like a really hard-fought, old-school Big Ten basketball game. Really proud of my team's effort. We've been struggling coming in, really challenged our guys, with our physicality and toughness and fight. It's almost like, there's no better place to try to play than come in here because all those things are going to be tested at the highest level. And I thought from that standpoint, I thought our guys were fantastic. I thought we handled the crowd. I'd give Michigan State a lot of credit. They got veteran guys, man. They got older guys. They've been in a lot of situations. They played in a lot of big games. And, they were able, when the game was in the balance there, the last 8 to 10 minutes, we hung, but, they just were able to kind of make the plays and we weren't. And we're just really struggling shooting the ball, and those, we shot 26 threes. I would venture to say that 25 of them are wide open, and we make 6. And, it's just hard because we have to be able to loosen the defense with the way people are going to guard Martinelli. And he still gets 30. I mean, what an amazing player. Guys gets double teamed and triple teamed the whole night, and he still gets 30 points. I mean, what a player, man. And we got to help him more offensively, and I thought he did a good job. He was a willing passer when they doubled and tripled him, and we just didn't make the shots, and sometimes you say that, and it's like, because I thought from a standpoint of physicality and toughness and rebounding and defense, I thought we matched them. I'm not going to say we did more than them, but I thought we matched them in all those areas, and unfortunately we couldn't make enough shots there down the stretch. So open for questions.
Coach, you talk about you gave credit to the Big Ten with this matchup, but can you give a little bit more insight in your relationship to Michigan State basketball? Even when they come to Evanston, there's always this challenge, but can you give a little insight on what did you do to get your guys ready specifically for coming into Breslin?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been no secret, when it's crazy. I'm one of the old heads now, and I still feel like I'm young, but I'm one of the longest. Thank you, appreciate you, but I can still shoot. So can't move very well, but I can still shoot it. My team would need that out there. I would make some of those threes. I know that for sure. But I love Coach Izzo, and I think he's always been so great to me. Being around basketball, I've known him since I was in high school. They recruited me a little bit, being from Chicago. I've always admired how he built this program. I think that some of the things that I stand for and my personality and some of the things I'm about, I think are a lot mirror what he stands for. So, he's always been someone that I've really looked up to in this profession, and he's been great to me, man. He's reached out to me at times, some of my lowest times, and it's crazy. My nephew's a manager. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this. My nephew is a freshman manager on the basketball team. I mean, that's how much I love what they've done here and what they're about. So, when you're going to play this team, you're going to have to bring it. You better bring toughness, you better bring courage, you better bring poise, and you better bring a lot of fight. And in the times that we haven't matched that in my years here, we've been obliterated. And on the few times that we've kind of matched that, we've given ourselves a chance, and we've won a few along the way. But man, I have so much. I'm a basketball historian. I grew up with the game. I've been around it since I'm a little guy. And this program is what's good about college basketball, and this fan base, man, it's special for me. Every time I walk out here, and I feel this environment and I see the stands and it gets me juiced, and that's a credit to this whole community and what they've poured into basketball. It's a special place. Yeah. Great.
Hey, Coach, you talked about matching Michigan State's intensity. It seemed like there was a real shift out of the second half in terms of rebounding and defense, allowing 48 points. Michigan State out-rebounds 25-12 in the second.
Yeah.
A lot of different factors in the game, but what felt like shifted at that break?
Yeah, I thought maybe a little bit of fatigue. You got to probably point to some of that. We were managing some foul trouble. I think some of the points are a little misleading. I think they got 10 free throws in the last minute. So, was it... that can be a little bit misleading when you're losing and you got a foul. So, the 10 points in the last minute, maybe instead of 50, it was a 40-point half. But we held them to 28 in the first half. You knew you weren't going to hold them scoreless. But, I thought their physicality wore on us a little bit. There's no question. we did a really good job on the glass in the first half. I thought as the game wore down, they started to make their mark. I think part of it too was, Fears was out of the game a lot in the first. We picked up 2 fouls on him, and that, he's such a leader for them and kind of sets the tone for them with a lot of what they did. And him being on the bench for whatever 10, 12 minutes there, I think got them a little bit out of sorts. And then he was fantastic in the second half. But I think combination of a lot of things. I wouldn't say it was lack of fight. I wouldn't say it was lack of physicality. I thought we probably fouled a little bit too much, Matt. Looking back on it, we were managing foul trouble a lot with our frontline guys. But I think a combination of all those things and Michigan State's play. I think you got to factor in them. They ratcheted it up and turned it up to a different level when they needed to beat us there.
Chris, you've been close, I think, 6 times this year, a couple possessions. When you went back up 7 in the second half, aside from the open threes, what else did you need to do to get over the hump?
We had some critical breakdowns, that were, that make it really hard. As much as I love Jeremy Fears, we shouldn't be fouling him shooting a 3. It was a 2-point game. I think it was 52-50 and we fly out and foul him shooting a 3-point shot. And God love him. He's one of my favorite guys and a Chicago guy and a grit, but I'm going to live with him shooting a 3. I'm not going to foul him. And that's a mistake. Those are breakdowns. We had a real critical possession when the game was in them, and Kohler got 3 wide open threes and he finally made the third one. And that's where maybe a little fatigue, a little bit of mental, like he's one of the leading 3-point shooters in the conference, right? And so those are the little things. And then I thought we left a lot of points on the table. I thought we missed some shots at the rim. We missed a lot of open threes. And when a team is making a run like that, you're not going to shut them out. Obviously, we didn't want them to hit 48 points. But you got to be able to counterbalance that and score a little bit. And I thought every chance we had, we weren't able to put the ball in the hole. And, Nick was trying, but they're throwing the house at him. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, if there's 2 or 3 guys on you, you got to be a willing passer. And that's where we just got, as we move forward, look, there's a lot of ball left. We've dug ourselves a hole here. We know that. But, there's 20 games. You're going to be judged by what you do over 20 games. And we got an opportunity this weekend to come back and get a win. But this was disappointing because I thought this was different than a couple of the close games that we lost. A couple of the guys are here that, that was kind of real breakdowns. Today, a lot of that was Michigan State, and then a lot of that was us not being able to score when we needed to, and we just got to figure that out.
Michigan State had 9 more turnovers. Did you think that was your defense or just sloppy play by them?
Yeah, we tried to the best that we could. If you look at some of their numbers, that's been a little bit of their Achilles heel at times. A lot of their guys have negative assist to turnover ratios, and we wanted to put them in a position without gambling. We're not a pressing team, but we wanted to try to be aggressive and get our hands in deflections and try to make some of those other guys make plays. And so, that was a real positive to turn them over 15 times, and we took care of it. We only had 6 turnovers, which is a real key, especially playing here.
Wondering.
Nick had 28 points. I don't believe he had another player in double digits.
Yep.
I hate to ask despite the lost questions, but how special is what he brings to the table in the season that he's putting together?
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's an amazing, amazing player. Kid played the whole game. They're throwing the house at him, and one of the best teams in the country, one of the best environments in the country. He's taking it all on. He's such a competitor. He's such a warrior. He leaves it all out on the floor, man. I'm so lucky that I've had a chance to coach him. Love that kid. If you could have more guys like that on your team, you win a lot of basketball. And we have. In the past, that's been some of the guys that's the Brooks Barnheisers and Boo Buoys and the guys along the way, the Brian McIntoshes, and he falls right in line with the guys that have just died for the program. And man, the player he's become, it's fun to watch, and hopefully everybody values what he does. For him to come out every night and get 25 to 30 points with the way the defenses are geared to stop him, pretty amazing by that kid, and hopefully we can keep him fresh, and we get some of these other guys giving him a little bit more help as we get into the season more.
Chris, the first 10 minutes of the second half, you mentioned about Fears being out early in the game, but you guys stifled him and kind of frustrated him particularly Angelo's screen there. That seemed like a pivotal moment in the game. How much of it do you feel like changed what Jeremy was doing at that point, and how much did Izzo's technical maybe kind of spark a little bit of
Coach
that?
Izzo knows. I mean, he knows how to manage. It's hard with Jeremy because he falls a lot. So some of them are fouls and some aren't, and he's good at it. I mean that I was good at that too. So I mean that in a good way. So at times he can be tough to officiate because he's really good at selling stuff. And so, at times he does get hit, and other times, and I think the more they got frustrated with that. And he's a veteran guy. He's a veteran guy, man. He's a vet point guard. I've watched him play ever since he's a young guy, growing up in Chicago. He just stayed the course. He got those 2 early fouls. He had to go sit. That's what a veteran stud point guard does. He comes back in the game. He steadies the ship. And he made a lot of huge plays down the stretch to help his team win. The kid's a winner. I mean, I got nothing but respect for him.
Last question, Matt.
Coach, I think this is the first time you've been at full health and scored under 70 points. I mean, this is also one of the best teams you've played all year,
Yeah.
if not the best. How do you kind of balance that result of, was it that Michigan State just has the talent level to take some of the things away, or do you feel like there were some long-term
I think if you watch the tape, we went 6 for 26 from 3, and 25 of them were wide open. So if we would have made 4 more of them, then we probably would have had 80 points. So I think if you watch the tape, which a lot of you guys do, I think we had a lot of open shots that we weren't able to make. So give them credit. That was the game plan. They wanted those guys to shoot, and we didn't make them. And that's what we just got to get in the gym. We got to be confident. We got to make people pay, if we're going to be open like that going forward. But that being said, I don't want to. They're a great defensive team. They're physical. They're old. They're smart. They know what they're doing. They're one of the best I think they're one of the top defensive teams. So I mean, we got 66, and that's shooting 6 for 26 from wide open threes. So I felt overall, I thought we played pretty good offense. We didn't turn it over. We got good shots. Just got to make them. So thank you guys.